If you've ever wondered whether you could take all of the things you learn at work, day to day, 9 to 5 or 5 to 9, whenever, and apply it into other things that you're passionate about outside of work, this is the episode for you. My next guest is Catharina Abiola James, who is a business analyst and now a debut writer of an amazing spiritual and personal development book called On the Journey of Becoming. She's taking all of the tools and practical things that she's learned in the office and really collected them into a workbook that would help you think through the stages that you are at now on the journey of becoming everything that God has called you to be. This is an excellent example of how work and life really don't have to be separate, and you can merge all of them together to really create the holistic life that you want. Welcome to viSHEbility. I'm so excited to have you here. Of course, this is a show that really just highlights and showcases and celebrates the wins and achievements and learnings of women of color in the UK and across Africa. And today I'm really excited to share someone that I really feel really blessed to do life with. Catharina Abiola James is on our set today. She is amazing, a business analyst and now a debut writer with her new book called The Journey of Becoming, or On the Journey of Becoming. And we're going to unpack all of this. But for now, Catharina, welcome to our set.
Thank you for having me.
Yay, excited. Okay, so of course, let's start from the beginning. We'd like to kind of, give our viewers a really good sense of who you are. And then, that would lead us into unpacking all of the amazing stuff that you're doing. So so if you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
And
Okay, great. So yes, I'm Catharina Abiola James. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a Christian.
Mother of two beautiful twins.
Yeah, a boy and a girl. Yes, mother, wife, daughter of amazing parents, one of 4 siblings, or 5 siblings actually. And yes, business analyst in my professional life. And yeah, what else? I love to write. I love to worship. I love to get to know people. I like the process of transformation, whatever that means, be that interior design, be that fashion, be that beauty, be that personal development.
So just kind of taking blank spaces and just creating something beautiful with that.
I think I love the process of then and now. I think, and just even I think in terms of life, that's what life is about, and life in Christ is about. So how we were and how we are now. But I see that in everything. So even in marriage and how you were when you started dating and how you are now experiencing marriage, or before you had children and now that you have children, or waking up in the morning and then all of a sudden going out and looking like this. Like, I just love the process of transformation.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So as someone who has said, you enjoy the process of transformation, I'm not surprised that you now spend your days as a business analyst in your career, like your day-to-day. But I also know a lot of people who are business analysts, but sometimes I'm never quite clear what they do. So can you explain what is a business analyst? What do you do day-to-day? And maybe walk us through a typical day, in the office, for example.
Okay, so what is a business analyst? So that's actually quite a theoretical question. So in my words, it's literally a person that engages with the business to find out what it is, where it is that they are, where it is that they want to get to, and then just help them on the journey of getting there. And that could be anything. So I think historically it was very IT heavy, and I guess even now with the technology advancements and stuff, it's very IT heavy in regards to working with the business stakeholders that might want a new solution or improvements to a current solution, and then working with the technical teams to kind of be very specific in terms of what is required, like what functionality is required, how do you want a system to work, and then basically just interpreting that into a language that the technical guys can understand and then go on and develop. So kind of acting as that middleman. Or you can have that on any level. So it could be a particular business process, process that isn't as efficient. A business is not making as much money as they want to be making. A business spends too much time doing stuff. And so it's the idea of understanding a process, understanding where is it that we spend a lot of time, or where can we actually make improvements, like where we're currently spending 10 minutes.
Money,
absolutely. So it could be save money, saving time, being just more efficient, making better use of the resources that you have. So process changes, or it could even be things like organizational change, where you have certain teams and the way they're set up isn't necessarily right for what you're doing in the business. So is there a need to restructure the business? Is there a need to implement something? Is there a need to merge teams? So it could be on every and any level. So in simple English, to me, it's basically anyone that is able to understand where the business is, where the business wants to get to, and then uses various tools and techniques and things to kind of just help the business get there.
A lot of people that I know who are in this line of work have done other things before and then pulled those experiences, you know. So when you consider the pathway into this career, is it something that you do right out of university, or something you do at some later point in your career when we have done something else?
Yeah, well, I think it depends. For me, it wasn't university at all.
Okay.
So I studied international relations and law.
Okay.
I then did a master's in public policy and management. Right. I worked as a policy officer. Okay. Before then, sexual health and HIV advocacy kind of work. Then policy. Then I had a gap, and then I went into business analysis. Right. So I know there are people that have an IT background that probably already kind of know about some of the kind of the lingo or the kind of world that they want to go into. But I think it's, if you think about it, business analysis is actually very common sense. And I think even you, in your path, you use some of the things unknowingly on a regular basis. You know, we use it in our day-to-day life. We use it even at work. So it's not necessarily, I say to people, it's not necessarily the title. It's more a way of thinking. You know, it's the ability to see, actually, this is where I am, this is where I want to be, so what do I need to change to kind of make adjustments, you know? And so I think in terms of the career path, it will differ for individual people. And I also know when I went into it, and I first went into it as almost like a junior kind of BA, and as permanent employment, being trained, having a mentor. And I really wanted that because it was a career transition for me, and I wanted to perfect the art. I didn't just want to go in and kind of, I wanted somebody to really talk me through it, and I learned very, very quickly. And I realized that there's so many similarities to what I did as policy officer, what I do at home, what I do as part of the Christian lifestyle consultancy that I run. So it was less about the title and more about the way of thinking and the skills. And a lot of them are transferable. Like, I'm a people's person. So stakeholder management has never been an issue for me. I love to communicate. I love to present. I like to facilitate conversations. So the thing is, you don't even need to know it all. You need to be able to facilitate and get people to tell you what it is that they want. And then look at, okay, so how can I then help you to put certain things in place to help get there. And yes, there are technical skills. So in terms of requirements elicitation or some of the technical stuff, use case, like there's certain things that require you to maybe go down like I did the business analysis diploma, I did business architecture. So there are things that are quite specific in terms of your technical skill sets. But regardless of what path you're on, if you're the kind of person that is very problem solving, if you're the kind of person that likes transformation, if you're the kind of person that looks at actually how can I add value and how can I help a business become its best, but how can I get a business to be more efficient and be more effective and become the business that it wants to be it on a process, technology, or people level. Then it's a great role to be in.
And of course, this wouldn't be viSHEbility if we don't talk about like any specific nuances in your role as a woman and also as a Black woman. You know, have you made any wins because of that? Because I always feel like it's a positive thing. Sometimes we talk about it maybe slightly too negatively, or maybe also has your role been in any way negatively impacted because of your demographic?
Okay. I've never felt in my role in any way, shape or form incapacitated or not being able to do what I need to do. And the funny thing is, I have had various sessions where people would say, okay, I'm rather assertive, I'm using all these words. And that's cool. Like, it gets the job done. I don't see, like, I think sometimes, because there is the whole, excuse me, what do you mean and why? But no, when I go into a role, and any role, it's about getting the job done.
Yeah.
And whether that is, if I have to be assertive, I'll have to be assertive. Yeah. If I feel that I'm not getting certain responses, then I would have to take necessary actions to get the kind of response, because it's not about you and it's not about me. It's about getting the job done. Yeah. And I worked in a particular organization, predominantly middle, I wouldn't even say middle, like probably like a 50s and 60s white men. Yeah. And I was working with directors and I was working with really executive teams. But it wasn't about them, it was about getting the job done. And it was about, you've brought me in to do something, and it would impact just you, and it impact everybody within your team. And I think you did have the whole, excuse me, like, is she going to be here telling us what to do? But you just reiterate, okay, what is it that we're here for? And what are we trying to achieve? Yeah. And can we kind of all agree that this is what we need to do? And that we rely on your expertise and your experience to make that happen. And you've brought me in to use my experience and my expertise to help you get there. And I think it is when you are able to take the person away and look at what it is that you're trying to achieve, you tend to get people's buy-in. And it might be difficult because people, I know, maybe that's in my German background, I speak very fast. I can be very, I'm not very diplomatic. Yeah. But I think I've never seen my blackness or my black identity as any kind of disadvantage. I think I'm not conscious of it, or I don't let it be an issue when I'm at work.
It's just about focusing on getting the job done, bringing your best to work, and just kind of getting it done, really.
Yeah, basically.
Really enjoyed our conversation so far, but of course we talked about your book. I'm so excited about this release. But can you just kind of walk us through like the inspiration for doing this? I know you've shared some of it already, but like the inspiration of doing it, also kind of the process of like getting a very useful tool like this out.
So yeah, I'll try and summarize this very quickly. So on the journey of becoming is what it is. Like, it's being on the journey of becoming. Yeah. And to me, that is becoming everything God has called me to be that at work, in the family, whatever. What inspired me was actually my parents' ministry in Austria, because what they have been doing over the last 30 years is actually work with people and help them move from a place of brokenness. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the people that they were working with are people that were trafficked into prostitution or forced to sell drugs. Yeah. But how they've just taken people as they are and just help them come out of that place that they were in, and then just end up here where they are now loving life and loving God and learning skills like cooking, cleaning, whatever it is, or just doing things, and just being able to just see that it's possible. Like, and we all have that. I've had things that have happened to me, or things that I got myself involved in, or whatever. And sometimes we are very self-critical and very, oh my God, woe me, and I can't move on. But it's just seeing that you snap out of it, and sometimes the snapping out takes months, but it's just the ability to move away from that place and just allow yourself become the person that God wants you to become. And I just think, but it's okay to be in a place that you probably didn't plan to be in, because life happens. But it's then saying, actually, I want to get out of that. And yes, some people know how to get out of it, and some people don't. And I know I've been in a place where I was depressed or whatever, and where I didn't know how to come out of it. I had people help me bring. So it's not necessarily, okay, it's your responsibility to just snap out of it, but it's about saying, I don't want to stay in this place. How can I move on? And that's why I'm so particular and passionate about practical tools. And in this book, because obviously I'm a Christian, and this book is personal development, but also in the Christian context, because sometimes we are just this, I'm praying for change, I'm fasting for change, I'm just that kind of, like, where you almost push the responsibility away.
You push responsibility on,
or even whatever it is, like career development. Like sometimes sometimes you really need to kind of take the bull by its horns and say, no, I'm taking responsibility for my part in the process. I know there are certain things that are outside of my control. There are external factors that are outside of my remit, but the things that are within my control to change, I want to change them. And if I don't know how to change them, there are tools and there are techniques that you can use. And that's why on the journey of becoming, I think I'm so passionate about, because it's moving away from the theoretical, I want to be different, I want to be everything God has called me to be, I want to be whatever, to actually saying, there's a part you play in it. And here's some of the tools and techniques that you can use to begin to move from where you are to where you want to be. So the first thing I would say is, on the journey of becoming, isn't actually just the book anyway. Right. It's a program.
Yeah.
It's the book, and it's webinars, and it's trainings, and it's a number of different things, because what it is absolutely like is not a novel.
Yeah.
It's not like I had somebody said, oh, I love your book. I've read it in like a week. And that's great. I love the fact that you love it. But it's actually about engaging with the book. I'm not saying it should take you a year to read it, but it's about, you know, like when you say read the Bible and study the Bible, they're different things. So it's not just about reading it and, oh, that's great, fantastic, but it's actually engage with it. And I know some people and I know different people have different learning styles. So we wanted to almost create a platform where we would almost meet and it probably won't be every, but meet as many teaching or learning, what's the English word? Meet as many people in there, like however you learn best. Some people are webinar people, so let's kind of do that. If you are a face-to-face kind of person, let's create that environment. If you just want to do it in your own space, online courses, we're going down that route as well, because it's less about, it's not the book, it's about the content. It's about getting people to really engage. We want
an application
and apply it. So to me, I was even saying when I was trying to say like measure success, it's not necessarily the fact that this is a New York bestseller or 1 million copies have been sold. That's great, but it's actually how many people have actually moved and transitioned from where they were to where they want to be. And I think that's the real thing. So to us, what we're doing at the moment is there's a workbook that goes alongside this book.
Okay.
And it's almost going to be almost ready, so we publish in the next few weeks. So the workbook is where you then engage with it. So you can you go through the book and you look at some of the things, and then there are real questions and simple questions, and really guides to just take you through it one by one to get you to engage. And saying that also, there's no right and wrong. Yeah. You know, there's not this is the answer sheet here, and it's because everybody's journey is different and everybody's answers and interpretation of things will be different. Yeah. But it's about getting people to really think, and I think I wanted to do that because we don't naturally self-reflect, or a lot of people don't naturally self-reflect. You don't either have the time, or you're so busy just living life and being in that cycle that you don't step back. Like I know so many people that are so skilled and great at what they do, and they have no idea because they are just doing what they're doing in their own space. So it's about creating space, thinking space and reflection space for you to actually get to know you for you.
I really want to spend time on like the practicalities of, you know, writing a manuscript, putting it, editing it, printing it, doing whatever. Can you share some of that?
Just like you actually, I may have in the past maybe thought of writing a book. Maybe, you know, when you kind of daydream, I'd like to be an author, but it would never have been a book like this. Nah, it would have been maybe a novel, like a Christian novel or something, you know, whatever. But one thing that I know I like doing, I write a lot anyway. So when I have things in my head, I just write them randomly, and they appear to be random until 10 singular random articles all of a sudden come and become something. And I think I started this 2.5 years ago, and just writing here, writing there, writing here, writing there. And then at some point I felt, it was actually when I was pregnant, and I then started thinking, okay, once I have my children, at some point I want to kind of stop doing what I do professionally in the sense of contract over contract. No, yes, I might love to consult and go in there and do a piece of work. But what I really love doing is I love helping people transform and even on a personal level. You know, I think there's so much fulfillment I find there. So I think to me it was more about actually knowing that I see myself do this seriously now in the next few years. There was a drive in me that just came out of nowhere after I had my children, where I'm like, okay, do you know what? No, take this to the next level. It's okay. A chapter might not be complete, so I just had a long paragraph, like insert text here or something. And what I did was actually I put all of my notes together, and I sent it off to 2 people. Okay. One of them my sister, one of them another friend that I know is an author. And they just read it, and they gave me their feedback, and this is messy and whatever. But it was basically the whole, if you're waiting for it to be perfect, it's never going to go out there. For anybody that has a book in mind, just whatever is here, just pour it out. Yeah. You know, like don't, because it's very easy. I mean, I would tell you, let me be honest with you. When I've been working on this for 2.5 years, I didn't even know about Michelle Obama's Becoming, for example. Yeah. And when somebody kind of shared it with me, I intentionally didn't buy the book. because I didn't want to be. I didn't, even though I know it's a completely different book, it's completely different audience, completely different whatever. I didn't want to be influenced. I didn't want to all of a sudden tweak it here and tweak it there, and just kind of. I wanted it to be me, a real reflection of what I felt God wanted me to write, and a real reflection of my language, my person, and what I wanted people to take away from the book. So there's something about just being original, just being you. And it might not be for everyone, but for the few people that it is for, I pray that it actually transforms their life. And I think that's what success means for me. It's not doing what everybody else does to get the same results, you know, and it's not that kind of book.
Amazing. So I'm really looking forward to like seeing like the webinars and the courses and all of that come, you know, but where can people get this book when they want to get it?
So it's available on my website with all the other products and services. So that's on www.onthejourneyofbecoming.com. So you find out more about us, not just even the book only, but the book, the webinars, all the kind of products and services that we offer are available on that website. It's available on Amazon, both in hard copy and electronic form as well.
Is there any advice that you would give to like your 18-year-old self now that you've kind of done a little bit of the journey so far?
Right. Oh, what would it be? I think it's just, I hear trusting the process quite a bit, but sometimes it's hard to trust something that you don't know. So I think it's probably be along the lines of allow yourself become. Right. Because you have, and I know to me, I'm almost like as if I'm one of the greatest testimonies to myself, because I didn't see this 5 years ago. Right. And 5 years ago, I didn't see, but because you become constantly, in my professional life, as a wife, as a friend, as a mother, and as a Christian, and just seeing that actually no situation that I thought was permanent is permanent. And when I come out of it, it's less the tangible things that I see, like you now have the house, you now have the car. It's never that. It's more the person that I've become. Like you look in the mirror, like, how did I become so patient? How did I become so compassionate? And you didn't plan. You don't say, okay, I'm going to be compassionate in the next 3 months. It becomes because you're going through a process. So I think my advice is definitely just allow yourself become. There will be times where you're frustrated. There'll be times where you don't see the next day. There'll be times where you think that you're stuck. But if you just allow yourself, go through the process. And if you're someone like me, like I said, that's very self-critical and very, how on earth could I have done this? Like you've done a mistake and you're like, how on earth did I do that? You know, but grace abounds. And I know grace is not just, I don't even think it's just a Christian word. It's just grace. Like sometimes we are harsher on ourselves than others are. So you just allow yourself, it's okay.
Always more you know, like it's just,
made a mistake. Okay, I'm going to learn from it. And I'm just going to become better and better every day. And then you look back, literally, you look in the mirror and you'll smile. And you'd never thought that you'd be in a place where you like what you see. And it's not because of what you've done. It's because of the person that you have become and are becoming. So yeah, that's it.
Amazing. I can, when you said that, like when I see myself now, like 5 years ago, I would never have seen this. Like I can definitely testify to that. And also, you know, whilst I'm encouraged by that, it also gives me a lot of hope that there's just so much more that I can't even see right now. But like, you know, there's so much more. But no, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
For sharing, for talking, for writing this amazing book.
Thank you.
And just giving yourself to us, really. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
So thank you guys for tuning in.
Thanks for having me.
Until the next one. Just continue to become and just enjoy the journey whilst you're on it.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.